Flying Tiger Whisper here with a video on how to replace your T-foil block. The ride height adjuster assembly feeds down through this T-foil block, and there's a mechanism here where the wand gives feedback down into the trailing edge. This leads down to the trailing edge of the foil, that black edge that you want to have lifted to provide some lift, but then when you get to a certain height you want it to plane out. That's what this does, and the base of this piece right here holds up this mechanism. I've broken mine, so I'm going to show you how to replace it. First, take off this nut and take off the ride height adjuster assembly here. After you've taken off the ride height adjuster, screw this mechanism, the screw, clockwise to make it as short as possible. It's drilling down into this T-foil block, and we're going to make it as short as possible. Okay, I've unscrewed these two, and I screwed this top in as much as I could, and now it's very loose. And I should be able to work it and get it free here. Can't do it with one hand, but I can do it with two hands. Okay, so you can see I worked it out. Got this piece free. That's why I wanted to screw this part deeper in here. And then this spring-loaded part comes free. Okay, so you can see my broken piece here. Here's my new piece. I'm going to unscrew this bolt, thread it in the top of the T-foil block here. You can see I've threaded this in. I believe this guy is Loctited to this bolt. I don't think this nut swings at all. I think it's the purpose to have that height perfect, because that'll be underneath the foil and the nut will pull this up. So I also believe this part is a little bit longer than this side, and this side will be where the spring part that will be a little meter that sticks up out of the foil, the black little guy that sticks up out of the foil on a spring. I believe it'll be on this longer side. The way I've found that works best to get this in is to start putting in this piece with this part rotated away so that it's completely open. You can just barely get it in here and fit it in if you have two hands. Then you can get that in. I'll work that in with two hands. Now the trick is to get this guy in. I probably should have put him in first. So let me take this out, and then maybe I can get this in by the side here. Yeah, I can fit that in. I have to feed it in through this hole up here. I'll do that with two hands too. So here you can see I've got them both in. Good to go. I'm ready to put my thread on the bottom here back through here. Put this guy back through here, and then the last guy I'll do is hook this one up. So I got this guy back in. Note that behind here, in the center of that hole of the T-foil block, there are two plastic circles, one on each side, that fit in the gap and help stabilize this structure. So make sure you get that screw right in the middle of there. And then this guy is really easy to fall into place. Make sure you get him. It'll feed through the middle of this metal piece here. Don't cinch this too tight. Now you want to unthread this bolt, which we had screwed in as tight as we could to shorten the length when we were fitting it in. Now you want to unthread this to get it to the desired height that it will fit through both the ride height adjuster and the nut. But of course you don't want to take it all the way out. So I'll keep unthreading this. So now I've put back my ride height adjustment assembly, put the nut back on, and I want to check to make sure that the settings for my ride height are appropriate. And to do that, I'm gonna actually try to take off this spar from the wand. even while it's still in my boat, so I don't have to take the foil totally out of my boat, because that's a real hassle for me. It might not be for other people, but for me it's very difficult to get my foils out without tipping the boat on its side. So I'm going to undo this screw here, loosening up this metal control wand, this metal control rod, and unscrew this screw here so that the wand should be free. What am I hanging up on? I think that my wand is actually hitting the hull of my boat. I have to use two hands, but I should be able to pull this down and get this screw in here that I want to undo so that this is free. So I got this little screw out. I needed to use a real thin screwdriver to get it out, and then it comes out of this hole at the top of the wand, and you can just pull this down out of this sleeve. This is going to help us do some diagnostics on the ride height. So we've got our T-foil block replaced. Got our ride height assembly screwed back on, and we've removed the spar here, the wand going down with the spade, so that we can do some testing and examine the relationship here between the angle here and the foil height here. See how here at 90 degrees, or almost 90, maybe 85, this is actually going down. If I have this down here at, say, 45 degrees, this is flat. And if I have it all the way down, this is up slightly. So they say this should be at, say, 3 millimeters between the bottom of this black edge and the top of this white edge. I'll go get a ruler and measure that out and see if we've got this right for 90 degrees. Looks like it's flat at about 45 degrees. Using my ruler, I get maybe 4 millimeters of separation here. But notice something. When my rod is released, previously the rod was moving back against the back edge of the rake adjuster and held in place, so I didn't see how far back it's sprung here. This is too much. That means it's resting at 45 degrees instead of resting down. So I think I need to loosen up this nut up here and let this drop a little bit. See, I'm exactly 3 millimeters of elevation here. You can see the angle here is, I don't know, 20-25 degrees. I'm not sure. It will push down to the middle with a little bit of pressure. Not much, but it seems to want to kind of rest here. This is the angle I've got here on my ride height adjuster. It seems pretty high elevation there. This is tight. Let's see how this works. Just a quick thing to the folks at White Formula. If I could redesign this part right here, I would have, instead of the screw coming in from the anterior side, I would put that screw through this side right here. It's so much easier to gain access to, and to then test the settings for this foil. Just food for thought.